Namaskaram. Welcome to Ashok Biology Concepts. This video is mainly focused on concept hybridoma technology and applications of monoclonal antibodies. Now I am going to start with hybridoma technology. This hybridoma technology is one of revolutionary technology in the history of immunology. This developed by Kohler and Milstein. They both shared Nobel in 1984. When I said that these two scientists shared Nobel in 1984, when I said itself, you can understand. Monoclonal production of monoclonal antibodies created history in medicine and physiology. This hybridoma technology used for production of monoclonal antibodies. You can call it as a MAPS. So what is the definition of monoclonal antibodies? These monoclonal antibodies are large number of antibodies. They derive from the single B cell clone. What is the meaning of clone? Group of cells that are genetically similar. That is why three ways I will define what is the meaning of monoclonal antibodies. Large number of antibodies deriving from the single B cell clone, or large number of antibodies deriving from the single B cell, or large number of antibodies having the same antigenic specificity. That means all these antibodies, large number of antibodies, go and react with a specific type of antigen. That large number of antibodies deriving from the single B cell called monoclonal antibodies. In order to understand this hybridoma technology, we need to understand briefly about something. That is, I am calling requirements to understand hybridoma technology. The first one is activated B cell. As we know, when the B cell get activated, this B cell differentiate into plasma cell. That is why this activated B lymphocyte also called as a plasma cell. I will explain. This B cell, what I wrote, activated B cell. When B cell is activated by a particular antigen, that B cell is differentiated into plasma cell. Now comes to this one, activated B cell. What it means is that this particular B cell is activated with a desired antigen. What I mean is that hybridoma technology used for the production of the large number of monoclonal antibodies against a particular antigen. That is why our desired antigen, with a desired antigen, we want to activate the B cell. That indirectly, this activated B cell responsible for production of the required or desired monoclonal antibodies. So what I am telling is that this B cell is activated with desired antigen. That is called as an activated B cell or plasma cell. The second one is, here the important thing is that this plasma cell or activated B cell having the 2 points to remember. One is the advantage, another one is the limitation. First one is that this activated B cell responsible for the production of the desired antibodies. Second one is that this plasma cell having only limited lifespan is only about 2 days. After 2 days, automatically this activated B cell or plasma cell, automatically it undergo apoptosis. That is why what you need to remember, this activated B cell, first point is like activated B cell responsible for production of the desired monoclonal antibodies. 1. The limitation of the activated B cell is a lifespan is very short, that is about only 2 days. After 2 days, this activated B cell committed to the apoptosis. The second requirement you need to remember is double mutant myeloma cell. Clearly I will explain what is the meaning. Before going to tell double mutant, first I will tell you what is a myeloma cell. Myeloma cells are cancer of plasma cell. Very simple. The person who is suffering this condition, the person containing a myeloma cell called as a multiple myeloma. This multiple myeloma person containing a myeloma cells. What are myeloma cells? Myeloma cells are a cancer of plasma cell. First you take the cancer. What is the meaning of cancer? The cell undergo infinitive cell divisions. That uncontrolled cell divisions. That uncontrolled cell division called as a cancer of plasma. This is not normal plasma cell. It is abnormal plasma cell. Cancer of the plasma cell. That is why what I already said cancer. This plasma cell produce the antibodies, but they are abnormal antibodies. They are not functional. They are abnormal antibodies. Now, myeloma cell is nothing but cancer of plasma cell. This is cell having the infinitive cell division, can undergo infinitive cell division and produces the abnormal antibodies, undesired antibodies. Come to here, the most important thing, we are not using the myeloma cell. We are using double mutant myeloma cell. And that means we have to do 2 mutations in the myeloma cell. First, directly I am telling here. The first mutation in myeloma cell we are going to do is like to block production of that abnormal antibodies. What it means that I said already. Myeloma cells what we are using are double mutant myeloma cell. First mutation we are doing in the myeloma cell to block production of abnormal antibodies. The next one is that in order to understand the second mutation in the myeloma cell, we have to understand some of the biochemistry concept, that is the metabolism of nucleotides. Every cell, when it want to undergo cell division, definitely it has to synthesize the nucleic acids. For example, you take in G1 phase, it has to synthesize different types of RNAs. While cell is going through S phase, during the S phase, it involves the synthesis of DNA. That is why when cell want to undergo cell division, the cell has to synthesize different types of nucleic acids. In order to synthesize the different types of nucleic acids, definitely first cell should synthesize the different types of nucleotides. Correct now? For example, you take RNA. For RNA synthesis, there are 4 types of nucleotides are required, like AMP, adenosine monophosphate, GMP, guanosine monophosphate, cytidine monophosphate. For RNA, uridine monophosphate. For example, if you take the DNA synthesis, deoxyadenosine monophosphate, deoxyguanosine monophosphate, deoxycytidine monophosphate, deoxythymidine monophosphate. What I am telling is that in order for synthesis of nucleic acids, first cell must synthesize the different types of nucleotides. In every cell, nucleotide synthesis occur in 2 different pathways. Nucleotide synthesis occur in 2 different pathways. One is de novo pathway. Second one is that salvage pathway. First, I will discuss about the de novo pathway. What is the de novo pathway means? it involves new synthesis of nucleotides. That means, what is mean? This de novo pathway, there is a clear difference between the de novo pathway and the Salvage pathway that I will tell you. First, de novo pathway. De novo pathway involves new synthesis of nucleotide. That means this nucleotide synthesis starts with the small molecules. These small molecules passes through different metabolic reaction, results the formation of final nucleotides. For understanding this one, briefly I will tell you what is this de novo pathway. This de novo pathway start with ribose 5-phosphate. This ribose 5-phosphate is actually coming from the HMP shunt. This de novo pathway starts with the ribose 5-phosphate. There are number of biochemical reactions involving with different molecules get involved, results the formation of inosine, one of the non-standard nitrogen base. Normally, adenine, guanine, cytosine, uracil and thymine. These are the 5 standard nitrogen bases. What is the meaning of standard nitrogen bases? These nitrogen bases involved in the nucleic acid synthesis. Along with the standard nitrogen bases, there are different types of non-standard nitrogen bases also are there. But directly they will not involve in the nucleic acid synthesis. Examples like inosine, hypoxanthine, xanthine are examples of non-standard nitrogen bases. Here, ribose 5-phosphate through different biochemical reaction with different types of intermediates, inosine monophosphate will form. So here in this metabolic pathway, number of molecules will involve. Like for your understanding, ATP will involve. The next one is that glutamine. The next one is glycine. The next one is formyl tetrahydrofolate. The next one is glutamine. The next involvement is carbon dioxide. The next involvement is aspartate. I will explain. The next involvement is formyl tetrahydrofolate. See, these are the so many intermediates that are involving in the de novo pathway. Finally, ribose 5-phosphate is converting into inosine monophosphate. Wait for me. Once the inosine monophosphate is formed, this inosine monophosphate convert into adenosine monophosphate, guanosine monophosphate. As we know, adenosine monophosphate convert into adenosine diphosphate, convert into adenosine triphosphate. Directly go and involve in the RNA synthesis. GMP convert into GDP, GDP convert into GTP. Directly it will go and involve in the RNA synthesis. Now nucleotides are synthesized. Here the important thing is that in this de novo pathway, if you observe, ATP is energy from cellular part. It is there. Glutamine, 2 times glutamine is involving. Glutamine, this one, you observe, this is the aspartate. The next one is the glycine. If you hear properly, glutamine, glycine, aspartate. These 3 are a standard amino acid that are definitely present in a cell. Here the most important requirement for de novo pathway for the synthesis of nucleic acid synthesis is this one. Formyl tetrahydrofolate. In case of humans, folic acid will not synthesize it in our body. Folic acid is an essential component. My meaning is that folic acid we must take through diet. When we take folic acid through diet, this folic acid convert into dihydrofolate. This again undergo reduction, it convert into tetrahydrofolate. See, tetrahydrofolate. This conversion, folic acid to dihydrofolate, dihydrofolate to tetrahydrofolate. The Rondo reaction mediating by very important enzyme that we need to remember is dihydrofolate reductase. This is famously called DHFR. You should remember dihydrofolate reductase, responsible for conversion of folic acid to the tetrahydrofolate. This tetrahydrofolate further converted into formyl tetrahydrofolate. This formyl tetrahydrofolate directly involved in the de novo pathway results in the synthesis of the nucleotides. These nucleotides involved in the synthesis of nucleic acids. Wait. Here DHFR, this competitive, this is enzyme, dihydrofolate reductase is enzyme competitively inhibited by one drug, that is aminopterin. This is what you need to remember. Why I called this DHFR, dihydrofolate reductase, is competitively inhibited by a drug is aminopterin. Why I called competitively, you know? The structure of aminopterin, structure of folic acid, both are structurally similar. That means folic acid and aminopterin both are competitors. Both are competing for binding to the active site of the DHFR. That is why in the presence of aminopterin, automatically DHFR activity will get reduced. That is why I am telling this aminopterin is a competitive inhibitor of enzyme dihydrofolate reductase. What I meaning is that if aminopterin is present in the surroundings, it will inhibit the activity of DHFR. If this enzyme gets inhibited, this tetrahydrofolate is not available. When this formyl tetrahydrofolate is not available, there is no de novo pathway. Thereby, there is a inhibiting the synthesis of nucleotides. Now, I am going to explain about the salvage pathway. Next, I am going to speak about the salvage pathway for nucleotide synthesis. What I said, de novo pathway is a new synthesis of nucleotides. But salvage pathway is like a ready-made synthesis. Ready-made synthesis. What I meaning is ready-made synthesis means if any available nitrogen bases are there, those available nitrogen bases are directly converted into corresponding nucleotides. Otherwise, if any non-standard nitrogen bases are available, either standard nitrogen bases are available or non-standard nitrogen bases are available, these nitrogen bases directly convert into required nucleotides. That pathway is salvage pathway. Wait for me, I will make you understand. For example, adenine. Adenine is a standard nitrogen base. This adenine is directly converting into AMP. As we know, AMP converting into ADP, ATP, nucleic acid synthesis. This adenine converting to AMP enzyme is adenine phosphoribosyl transferase. For example, you take guanine. Guanine. Directly this is converted into GMP. This enzyme you should remember, hypoxanthine, guanine, phosphoribosyl transferase. Famously it is called as a HGPRT. Hypoxanthine, guanine, phosphoribosyl transferase. One more example. For example, hypoxanthine, one of non-standard nitrogen base, if it is available in the medium or if it is available to the organism, directly that is converted into inosine monophosphate. As we know, inosine monophosphate directly converted into AMP or GMP. This conversion is also mediating by enzyme HGPRT. Now you need to remember this enzyme. In de novo pathway, what I said to remember? DHFR, dihydrofolate reductase. In Salvage pathway, you need to remember HGPRT, very important enzyme during the Salvage pathway. Hypoxanthine, guanine, phosphoribosyl transferase. This is a very important enzyme during the Salvage pathway of nucleotide synthesis. Comes to the original track of hybridoma technology. What I said? In a hybridoma technology, we are using double mutant myeloma cell. Already first mutation already did. First mutation in the myeloma cell in order to block production of abnormal antibodies. Now this is the time for doing the second mutation. What is that second mutation? Very simple. In myeloma cell, to block production or synthesis of enzyme HGPRT. That is a dynamic point. That means myeloma cell, because of the second mutation, myeloma cell cannot produce as the HGPRT. That indirectly meaning what? This myeloma cell cannot progress or cannot show Salvage pathway. That means as alone myeloma cell, if it want to undergo cell division, you have to concentrate. As alone myeloma cell wants to undergo cell division, it has only one pathway, that is a de novo pathway. It cannot, as a one myeloma cell, alone myeloma cell cannot show the Salvage pathway because it cannot produces the HGPRT. That is why if myeloma cell want to undergo cell division, that required nucleotides possible to synthesize only through de novo pathway. The next, the process of hybridoma technology and applications of monoclonal antibodies. Now I am going to continue in the next part. If you understand it till now, you can follow my channel. If you have any doubts, please comment below. Definitely I will respond to your questions.